So heart is always a good place to start the circulatory system. And I think this one has a nice heart. Sure. So I always just like to go the direction of blood flow, because that way you just are always thinking about blood flow. So what's the first chamber of the heart that blood comes back into the heart to?
Sinus venosus.
Sinus venosus, okay. And the sinus venosus, a little bit hard to just show everybody without having more hands, but I'm doing the best I can. Remember the transverse septum, the partition between the pericardial cavity and pleuroperitoneal cavity. If you look at the front edge of that, there's this triangular membranous structure right there that is the sinus venosus. So it's this thing here. Okay, and I think everybody got a view of that anyway on their own. Okay. So the blood flows back into the sinus venosus, and then it's going to go into the next heart chamber, which would be the atrium. And that's these two lobes you can see on the side here, here and here, here and here. Okay, is everyone seeing at least well enough? Okay. And after the atrium comes the ventricle, and everybody knows that. That's this big guy here. Okay, most muscular, strongest heart chamber right there. And then last but not least, coming out of the ventricle is this chamber here, and that is the conus arteriosus right here. And that, again, is a muscular heart chamber. And you can see running forward from the conus arteriosus in this ventral view here, a blood vessel, and that would be the ventral aorta. Does everyone agree? Right there. All right, beautiful. Nice job on this. Okay, that's the heart. One term I'll just mention is the apex of the heart. If you think of the heart as a triangle with a base and a point, the point is the apex, but the apex points caudally and to the left, so it's this point of the heart right there is the apex of the heart. And this is a term that comes from human anatomy and mammalian anatomy in general, that bottom end of the heart. Always seems a little counterintuitive. You want the base to be the caudal end and the apex to be the cranial or top end, but it's just not how it works. Okay. Then we get to the hepatic portal system. I'm just following through the book, and I want to make sure I know which of these is. I think this one's going to be better for us. So remember, hepatic portal system is carrying blood from where to where? From the stomach to liver, or gut to liver. Yeah, okay. So, and the other thing to remember is what color it is in our sharks. What color is it?
Yellow.
Yellow, okay. So there's lots of yellow in this shark, which is a little annoying, but it also at least got fairly well injected. And so if we stretch the liver away from the gut, you can see this thing that connects the two of them together, and what is that? The lesser omentum, exactly. And running through the lesser omentum, you see a big vein here. Maybe you don't see it very well. I'll show you right in here, this big yellow vein running through the lesser omentum, and that would be the hepatic portal vein. And the hepatic portal system is the hepatic portal vein plus all the tributaries draining different regions of the gut. And there's three main tributaries that we are worrying about at this point. One of them comes in from the stomach into the hepatic portal vein, and that would be coming from here right along in there. And you can actually dissect these away a little bit better to see them better, but at least you can see generally where it is right there, coming from the stomach. And that's called the gastric vein. Okay. There's another one that comes in that's kind of hard to see because it's kind of buried way deep in there, along in here. And this is actually coming from the region of the spleen here, along the dorsal lobe of the pancreas, and then kind of diving under here and popping out in here, right like that. And this is called the leno-mesenteric vein. So for you guys, here's coming along, dorsal lobe of the pancreas, coming under here, and then popping out, running along, right along in there, and that's the leno-mesenteric. And lean, the root L-I-E-N, comes from the Latin root for spleen, so you can think leno-mesenteric, spleno-mesenteric, it's coming from that region of the spleen. Okay. The largest tributary, the biggest one that you'll see, is the pancreatico-mesenteric, which is this one that you see right there. Okay. And the pancreatico-mesenteric is coming from this region of the ventral lobe of the pancreas and crossing over right behind the pylorus of the stomach, right there, and running into the hepatic portal vein. So it's this big guy right here. So those are all the tributaries coming into hepatic portal vein. So they're carrying blood from the gut to the liver. Blood from the liver still has to get back to the heart, though. And it does that through the hepatic veins or hepatic sinuses. And if you go into the liver, this is really disgusting. It's all goopy and blue. But indeed, you can find a place where you can probe into the lobe of the liver. And there's one big sinus or space in the left lobe and one in the right lobe. I'm not sure about the median lobe, if it drains into the left or the right. It goes one way or the other, and I'm not sure which. But these then are draining the blood out of the liver, the hepatic sinuses or hepatic veins, and it's going to drain back into the heart. And you can see actually right here that hepatic sinus draining forward, and I've got the probe going forward, and you can see how it's in the sinus venosus. Okay. That's the hepatic portal system. Then we get to the renal portal system. And renal portal system, remember, is draining blood from the tail to the kidneys. And the way that Walker has you find it is to make a transverse cut through the back, through the vertebrae, and you'll notice initially that you've got two vessels right below the centrum of the vertebrae, a caudal artery and a caudal vein right below it. Okay, so just caudal artery and caudal vein. Okay. See that? But if you go a little bit farther forward, those vessels are going to split, or particularly the caudal vein is going to split, and you're going to see a pair of vessels. And those then are the renal portal veins, and right below them are the actual kidneys, you can see. So they're right adjacent to the kidneys. So that's right here. Here's the renal portal veins. They're not injected. And there's the kidneys right below. Did you see that okay?
Yeah, I thought the renal portal vein was ventral to the kidneys.
No, I just drew it there because I was running out of places to draw
No,
it.
that's totally fine.